What's going on, guys? It's your buddy, it's your pal SpazPhoenix, the YWC reality check, and no, I didn't do a Raw review last night, and no, it's not because I'm jumping on the bandwagon of everybody else that said last night's Raw was shit. I'm not saying that Raw was fantastic by any stretch of the imagination, but I still had fun with it. I just didn't have much to say, so I didn't bother doing a review. This is the first of what I hope will be the bi-monthly Q&A. I put a message out back in June saying, guys, give me your questions in June, I will answer them in July. I had hoped to do this on July 1st, but, you know, life gets in the way, etc., etc., etc. I've had, for the first time I'm doing this, I didn't have a bad response. I've got about 12 or so questions here. Questions from all over the place. A lot of people submitted more than one. Thanks for the contributions. I don't know how long this video is, so, you know, grab yourself a drink or whatever, because I may ramble, I may not. I didn't look at other than to see that I had questions, I didn't really look through these questions to see what they were, so I could do them with fresh eyes and give you not maybe a super analytical answer, but more so my gut reaction to the question, and that's exactly what you're going to get in this Q&A. So without further ado, here we go. First question. Who do you think needs the biggest push right now in the WWE besides The Miz? I like that because everybody knows I'm a big fan of The Miz. And would you like heel... Yeah, there's a couple questions here. Shit, they're all done into one question. Who do you think needs the biggest push right now besides The Miz? Would you like a heel couple with Daniel Bryan and AJ with them both as champions? And who do you think will be the John Cena of the WWE in the future? Now, who would I like to see get a push right now? Honestly, and it's not in any of my, Fave Fives or anything like that, I would love to see the team of Gabriel and Kid really get off the ground. Because, yeah, they're a thrown-together tag team, but in the few times that we've seen them, they have meshed together quite well. And with the tag team division sort of reestablishing itself as we speak, I think those guys, if they can get in on the ground floor, can be one of the building blocks of that division. Other than that... Well, you've already said The Miz. Ziggler and Rhodes obviously are chomping at the bit to take that next step up into the main event spot. One of them is going to do it this Sunday at Money in the Bank. I may or may not do a Money in the Bank preview match, but yeah, anybody that doesn't think either Ziggler or Rhodes is taking that next step up this Sunday is delusional at this point. Would you like to see a heel couple, Daniel Bryan and AJ, with both of them as champions? Now... I would love to see a coupling, but I'm sorry it's not Bryan. I'm sorry. I love the idea, whether they be face or heel, I love the idea of Punk and AJ going forward, because I said as soon as this storyline started, where they took the great feud of CM Punk versus Daniel Bryan and inserted this crazy AJ character, and as soon as Punk went on his I dig crazy chicks spiel, and that became a hashtag, that became a t-shirt, etc., immediately I thought of Edge and Lita, and that was the first... Edge and Lita was sort of the first set of champions where Lita didn't need Edge to be great. Edge didn't need Lita to be great. They were both champions in their own right, and they just happened to be awesome together. I think if you had Punk and AJ in that sense, it would work. I don't know that AJ and Bryan could do that. So I'm going to say no, and my counter is I would rather see AJ and Punk as the couple, whether they be face or heel. But if they don't do any of that, and AJ sort of goes off and, establishes a female wrestling career, that would be the ultimate for me, because no diva in a long time in the WWE has held such high prestige for such a prolonged period of time, since maybe Trish Stratus or Lita, than AJ's done in the past little while, and that has to be commended of her. It has to be commended that the WWE has let her do it. So this would be the prime time, once the spiel with Bryan and Punk is said and done and over with, to springboard into an actual wrestling career rather than a side thought in a male storyline, if that makes any sense at all. Just for kicks, who do you think will be the John Cena of the future? This is the problem. People say, when John Cena's gone, who's going to be the face after he's gone, because WWE's put so much stock in him. realistically, we shouldn't have a John Cena. We shouldn't have the entire company sitting on one person's shoulders. I've said it before. I'm not gonna rant on Cena. I'm really not. In the past, we've had, you know, main event pictures and title pictures that have revolved around maybe 3 or 4 or 5 different guys. But to have Cena constantly in our faces, have Cena in our faces in such a way that even the good stuff, and John Cena does good stuff, I will admit that, even though I rant on him a lot, he does good stuff. He does the Make-A-Wish, he does publicity for the WWE, and, you know, it's like everybody else says, yes, he shows up. But he's not the best. So, the fact that they keep trying to put him out there as the best really doesn't work. I really don't think that there should be one figurehead of the company. I think there should always be a constant struggle for who is the main guy, and it shouldn't be so pinpoint. If we have to have one person as the pinpoint, I would say Orton, because people already accuse Orton of being in that Cena spot anyway, even though it's bullshit. My number one choice would be Punk. I could see somebody like a Ziggler coming up into that spot and sort of maybe not being the main guy, but being the number one antagonist of whoever that main guy is. I really don't know who else to say. Everybody's gonna say Sheamus because, you know, there's the whole, you know, Sheamus is getting the Cena push on SmackDown right now, you know. He's the Ginger John Cena of Team Blue. I really hope not. Let's just put it that way. With John Cena being in the role that he's in right now, WWE would have you believe that he's irreplaceable. And fuck off, I'm doing a video. So will anybody realistically be the next John Cena? I don't think there is a name that can fill that void right now, as far as the WWE has led us to believe, but that's okay, because ultimately, I don't think we should have a John Cena. I don't think we should have any one person in that type of position. Because let's face it, right now, as far not for us, because we would love to see other new talents go out there, but as far as WWE is concerned, if John Cena ever goes down to a serious injury, they might as well close the doors. Now that's bullshit and it's not true, but it's the unfortunate situation that they've led themselves into. Thanks for that. It's a great run of questions. Do you have an idea for a new concept match, either for WWE or for TNA, or is there any concept matches that you'd like them to bring back? Things that I would like them to bring back, it's not exactly a concept match, but it is a concept. I would love them to bring back King of the Ring. I really would. Royal Rumble leads into WrestleMania. I would love to have the winner of King of the Ring be the guy that gets the shot at SummerSlam, and have it be that way of introducing a new guy. Other things I wish they would bring back, I don't really know. Like, they still do pretty much everything. Like, they have Hell in the Cell, they have Elimination Chamber. If anything, I would like to see them pull away from the themed pay-per-views that are done around the concept matches, so that when the concept matches do pop up at the proper point in a feud, that they're impactful, and not just have, okay, well, this month is the Elimination Chamber, so let's throw a bunch of people in the Elimination Chamber. Or, actually, no, that's a bad example, because it's once a year and da-da-da. To have stuff like TLC or Hell in the Cell, it's like, well, it's the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view, so we need to find some people to throw in Hell in the Cell. That's not the way matches like that are supposed to be used. As far as creating a match type, I'd always said, especially when I was younger, I would love to see sort of a combination of Hell in the Cell and a ladder match, where the belt that you're fighting for we'd be hanging from the roof of the cell, and rather than climbing up a ladder, that you would have to actually make your way up the inside of the cell. We always see people going up the outside of the cell, fighting on top, etc., etc., and it usually leads up to some great spots, especially if your name is Mick Foley. But I would love to see somebody kind of like what the Ultimate X is, except in a cage environment, where they would have to climb up the inside of the cage and climb along the inside of the roof to get to the belt. I don't know what you would call it, and I don't know if WWE would do it because of the risks involved, but I think that would be a concept that a lot of people would really like. Thank you. Kara, you make me shake my head because you asked me a question that could spawn several videos on its own. If you could change anything in the WWE, what would you change? Wow, that's a loaded question. I would basically build on the small changes that they're making right now. Try to bring back tag team wrestling to prominence. Try to bring back women's wrestling to prominence. They've built back their Intercontinental Championship, which is great. That's a building block for your mid-card. They really need to get the U.S. title off Santino, but that being what it is, you have two mid-card champions that you can build a great mid-card around. They need to stop... sorry, guys. They need to stop with everything being, okay, let's establish the main event and fill in the rest. They need to have each thing be its own building block to the show. They need to have a prominent spot for women's wrestling. They need to have a prominent spot for tag team wrestling. I mean, every once in a while, let another division be the main event of Raw or be the main event of SmackDown. Or hell, scary as it may sound, build up your tag team division to a point where the tag team championships could main event a pay-per-view. Is it realistic right now? Absolutely not. But if you built up the division to such a degree where it's believable that once in a while another division could main event a show, absolutely. Anybody that remembers TLC 2 at WrestleMania 17, that was pretty much the apex of tag team wrestling. Now, if that hadn't been WrestleMania, if that had been a B pay-per-view, I don't think anybody would have minded TLC 2, the match itself, main eventing a pay-per-view. Now, is tag team wrestling at that point? Now, as I've said, absolutely not. But you could build to that. You could build to that, and don't treat tag team wrestling, don't treat women's wrestling, don't treat, minor card title matches, don't treat, matches that don't necessarily have a title attached to them as filler. Don't just toss it on at the end and be like, oh, well, we have this as well, but moving on to the main event. And don't... Here's the thing, here's the biggest thing that contributes to nobody taking the other divisions seriously. Regardless of where they are on the card, while these matches are happening, the commentators are already building up what's going to happen later in the night. On Raw, for example, if there's a tag team title match, they might talk about what's going on in the ring or the story that's going on in the ring for a little bit. But more so, they're going to be talking about, hey, so-and-so is going to come back later on tonight and answer so-and-so's challenge, or, we've got a big main event coming up later tonight. That's fine. That's fine. You have a main event coming up at the end of the night, and that's great. But you have a great match going on in front of you right now, provided that it is great. I mean, if it's not, and they're just trying to keep people interested because they know it's not, then maybe they should have done something else to begin with. But whatever. The other thing is, when you're talking about anybody that's not Randy Orton or John Cena or you got guys like Christian, you got guys like Cody Rhodes, Dolph Ziggler, and all that. Stop referring to them as the future of wrestling, because I hate to break it to you, these are the guys people are tuning in to see right now. These guys are the right now of wrestling. To say that they're the future is like, oh, it's what you say about a new guy. It's one day this guy's going to be really great. No, the guy's great right now. It bothers me. They do it in TNA as well. They always refer to AJ Styles as the future of wrestling. Austin Aries, the new TNA champion, as the future of wrestling. I'm sorry, if he just, toppled Robbie Roode, who was your longest standing champion to date, broke out of the X Division ranks to become the World Heavyweight Champion, I hate to break it to you, he's the right now of wrestling, not the future. And I know they're trying to give them a compliment. They're trying to look forward, and we've got many things to look forward to in the future from this guy. But he's not just the future, or she's not just the future, or that tag team is not just the future. If they are getting all these great compliments and they are why we are tuning in to watch the show, then I hate to break it to you, they are the right now of wrestling. Another prime example of that would be Hulk Hogan referring to Jeff Hardy as the future of wrestling. I'm sorry. Jeff Hardy, I'm a big fan of his, but his prime has passed. He's got years left on his career, don't get me wrong. But the time where he was at his prime was around the TLC era, when TLC was a new concept and whatever. That was his prime. If you looked at him then and said he's the future of wrestling, absolutely. I'm sorry, Jeff Hardy, you know, engrave it in stone, is the right now of wrestling. If you're looking at him and saying, wow, he's going to do something great one day, that's almost an insult at this point. So, yeah, Kara, long story short, there's a lot of things I would change in WWE right now. A little bit out of date. Who do you think should be the WWE champion at No Way Out? I vote for Kane. I do not vote for Kane. I'm sorry. He's at the point right now. He's you know, a veteran. His job at this point is to put other people over, or is to be a boosting factor in the growing of somebody else. I wanted CM Punk to win at No Way Out, and he did. Not much else to say about that. Are you a fan of Lord Tensai? Now, this is an interesting one, because I was a fan of Albert back in the day, and I wasn't a fan in the sense that, oh my god, this guy's going to be the next world champion, oh my god, this guy's going to be main eventing WrestleMania in a couple years. He was just one of those characters that was always there, and always constant, and you need guys like that. You need guys to stay, you need a handful of guys that will stay where they are to help the guys that are going to go farther move on. And Albert was that. He did a couple of different things. He was Prince Albert. He had the tag team with Draws, and they had the whole piercing gimmick and whatever. He had the tag team with The Big Show. It took him to WrestleMania. Good for him. He was constant. When I heard that he was coming back, I didn't think that he was going to be a main eventer. When they started putting him in matches with Cena and Punk and all that, I thought it was ridiculous. If they had brought him in and had him be just a dominant mid-carder, I would have liked it, and I think he'd be a lot better off than what he's doing right now. Am I a fan of Lord Tensai as a gimmick? Not really. Am I a fan of seeing Matt Bloom again in the ring? Sure. I think he would, if he had just came back as Albert, or hell, if he had just come in as Matt Bloom, it would have been received quite well. But the whole, you know, white guy pretending to be Japanese, adopting, you know, Japanese culture, etc., etc., etc. I mean, we all know what happened when Jimmy Wang Yang tried to be a cowboy. It didn't work. It's unfortunate that the gimmick has taken off as unsuccessfully as it has. It's the same as them trying to put Ryback out there, because I'm sorry, I love watching Ryback. No, he's not doing anything of note, really, but he's fun to watch. Albert could be the heel equivalent, and just be fun to watch, and be like, okay, he's about to come out here and he's about to destroy somebody. Like, he's going to come out and destroy an Alex Riley, or he's going to destroy a Yoshitatsu, or he's going to destroy Michael McGillicuddy, or you know, he could, even if he went to NXT and became a big obstacle for the new, fresh NXT talent to topple before they came to WWE. There's a lot of things that they could have done with him. There's a lot of unrealized, unused potential in Matt Bloom. As far as Lord Tensai, the gimmick, I gave it a shot because I thought it might have been interesting. It fell flat on its face. I don't buy it as much as anybody else does. That's what I'll say about that. Totally off topic, but what bands do you listen to? Anybody that's watched a lot of my videos knows I'm obviously a fan of Disturbed. It's right there in my entrance, or in my opening little graphic thing there. I have used Linkin Park before. I'm a huge fan of Linkin Park. By the way, just got their new CD. It's a lot of fun if you're a Linkin Park fan. If you're a fan of sort of the new direction that they've taken. Also, not a lot of people know a band by the name of Hailstorm. Band that I had the pleasure of seeing last Wednesday evening in Toronto at the Mod Club. Really cool band that I encourage a lot of you to check out. So there's the three that are on the top of my list right now: Disturbed, Linkin Park, Hailstorm. Okay, what's next? Okay, this is a sentence, not a question, but okay. Shoots and reality devalue wrestling too much if used too often. Once in a while, it's great. Example: CM Punk. But now it's kind of lame to see some people. Good kayfabe beats a shoot most of the time. I don't know whether you can say are shoots better than going along with a storyline. I think a shoot is something that only certain people can do. CM Punk can do it because he does it well. When John Cena came along and he tried to shoot against The Rock, nobody bought it because nobody cared. The Rock came in and he did a shoot on Cena, and people bought it because people believed the same way that The Rock believed. That, you know, Cena's gone stale, he's only for the kids, etc., etc., etc. CM Punk comes out, and a shoot works if the crowd agrees with what the shooter is saying. CM Punk came out when he did his pipe bomb promo last year in the summer of Punk, and he said what a lot of people say. You know, a lot of us say, and I'm going to use Cena as the example, a lot of us say we don't hate Cena the man, we hate Cena the character on television. And when CM Punk came out and he started his promo by saying, I don't hate you, John Cena, I hate this idea that you're the best. Everybody watching, whether you're a Cena fan or not, said, yes, somebody gets it. Or at least somebody is pretending to get it. Or at least somebody picked up a microphone to make us believe that they get it. Because that was it. If you come out with a shoot that's just, you know, you complaining or you mocking somebody or this and that and the next thing, it's not so great. If you talk about something that, you know, in wrestling land you're not supposed to talk about, yeah, it's going to get a pop from some people. When a shoot works is when the person shooting is really, really speaking for the audience. And that's when it worked for CM Punk. And that's why it worked for CM Punk. Is it hard to fit a shoot into the kayfabe afterwards? Yeah, because then the line of reality and non-reality really, really gets blurred. And then you get into the whole, well, it was a shoot, but it was a worked shoot, because if he legitimately was just shooting off at the mouth, they would have had him removed from the building, and he would have been charged, or something and something and something else, or there would have been legal ramifications, and all the reality sets in if you're, like, older than 10 or 11. So, it's a very, very tricky thing to do. It's, doing a shoot promo is kind of like doing a ladder match. A ladder match requires a certain kind of star. A ladder match requires somebody that can take bumps, who can do high spots, who can do something with the ladder that the last guy we saw in a ladder match didn't do. You need a special kind of wrestler to work a ladder match. You need a special kind of mic worker to do a proper shoot. I'll say that. I don't think that the idea of a shoot devalues the product. I think having the wrong person do a shoot will devalue the shoot. I really hope that answers your question. Who do you think is doing a better job with the concept of the undefeated streak, Ryback or Crimson? Now, Dalyxman and I did a video a little while ago just ranting about a couple of random things. And one of the things we talked about is there's way too many people in WWE that are undefeated right now. There's a lot of people that don't need to be undefeated. And Ryback is really the only one that makes sense, because he is that dominant Goldberg-esque force going through and just mowing down anybody in his path. Now, there's a difference between almost an animal character like that, who just can't be stopped, and Crimson, who towards the end was just an asshole that hadn't lost yet. Crimson didn't do a bad job with being undefeated. It's just his character didn't need an undefeated streak to be what it was. Ryback has taken on this streak and made it part of his dominant persona. So it's not, to me, it's not a case of which one is better. It's which one makes more sense. And the one that makes more sense is Ryback. And the question is kind of moot now, because Crimson did get his first loss, and since then he's been jobbing. He just jobbed to Devon, and if you're jobbing to Devon, then, you know, what else can I say? If you could do one thing for the YWC, what would you do? I would send half of them back to school or a debating class to stop them from being so insane. What are your thoughts? There's a little bit of an opinion there, but whatever. Everybody has their own opinion of how they want the YWC to be. Everybody wants to be able... here's the thing. Everybody in the YWC wants to be able to express their own opinion without being shot down or argued against, but at the same time, they want to be able to express their opinion about other people's opinion. They want to be able to express their opinion. They want to be able to express their opinion about somebody else's opinion without having anybody express their opinion of what they've just put forward. And there is a hypocrisy there that I don't really know how we could fix, but if we could get rid of that hypocrisy, I think the rest of it would fall into line. That's about all. I'm not going to tell people here in the YWC what to do, but if we could get rid of that hypocrisy, it would be great. And the last one, I think. I personally believe the suspension of disbelief is the most important part of wrestling. For example, Lesnar kayfabe busting Cena open was the most badass thing I've seen in years. It created a lot of buzz around the WWE. Do you disagree or agree? Suspension of disbelief is important, but for those of us, especially here in the YWC, that analyze how things are done more than what happens, we all know it's not real. Or, I hate saying it like that, you know, it's real because what we're seeing in front of us isn't actually, it's not fake, it's not special effects, it's not a movie, it's not a television show. So what we're seeing in front of our faces, we are actually seeing. But it's not actual competition. It is scripted, it is predetermined, etc. It depends what you want from the product, really. If you want to sort of lay back and turn your mind off and treat it like it's real, then you need to be able to do that. And when you see things that make it impossible for you to do that, then it gets annoying. I wish I could go back in some senses to when I was a young fan and I didn't analyze things so much and I didn't, you know, do this, that, and the next thing. I wish there were points where I didn't, you know, notice that somebody botched or notice that somebody did a particular move a wrong way. I wish I didn't notice people blading. I wish I didn't notice people, you know, talking to each other while the match is going on. I wish I didn't analyze the hell out of things. I wish I could go at the end of a match and just say that was a great match, rather than saying, well, you know, so-and-so is really, really developing their character, and, you know, their ring psychology has really, really improved from, like, this date to now, and da-da-da-da. Because there is an element... We all love what we do here in the YWC in one way or the other, and we all analyze things in one way or another, but we have to be careful, or at least for myself, I have to be careful that I'm not analyzing the fun right out of it. And that's the thing. Being able to suspend your disbelief, there are things that shouldn't happen, like, you know, Rey Mysterio beating the Big Show constantly, or I don't even know. And that's not a dig at Rey Mysterio, it's just the prime example that comes off the top of my head. Hornswoggle winning the Cruiserweight Championship off Chavo Guerrero. John Cena taking on the whole Nexus and still coming out like he didn't, like nothing happened. Any one person coming into the Royal Rumble and taking out everybody else in the ring. Like, I don't know. There are certain things that are just like, come on. And that's all you do. It's not like you get mad or rage at the TV or whatever. You just kind of look at your TV as if you're looking at the WWE writers and just be like, guys, come on. This is crap. Or whatever. But, you know, if you were to have the Big Show, Kane, Mark Henry, Triple H, and Brock Lesnar versus John Cena, and have Cena win, it's like, come on, it's not happening. You know, F5s for 5 of the biggest guys in the company, like, with physical stature, I mean, and for Cena to pop up and not, and this, like, again, this is not a dig at Cena, this is just what I'm putting out there, to, the idea that somebody like a Rey Mysterio would dropkick somebody with the stature of the Big Show, and it would have the same effect as if he was fighting somebody the same size as him. It's just, it's too much cartoonishness. It's too much superhero-ness. And those moments that make us go, what the hell? If we could get rid of those, then yes, you could suspend your disbelief, and you could go back to that moment in time where you were a young fan and you just took what was handed to you, and you didn't question it, and you just enjoyed it. And at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to just enjoy it. We can analyze the hell out of it afterwards, but if it's so unreal that you're analyzing it as it's happening, then the fun is lost. The fun is gone. If WWE reaches the point in any given scenario where you can't, as much as you try, suspend that disbelief, like you've said here, then that's when they need to really, really look at what they're doing and maybe go either in a different direction or just completely shut down the idea or the storyline or the gimmick or whatever and just try something new completely. That's it, guys. Thanks for everybody that's sent in a question. I hope I've answered them sufficiently, I'll say. I will be putting out another video in... Why? Anyways. Always when I'm doing a video. Always. This is July. August, I will put out another video asking for questions for the September Q&A. Hopefully I will get just as many questions. Hopefully you guys have had fun with this. I've had fun doing it. I've been waiting to do it since I asked you guys for questions in June. I had a lot of fun. This has been great. I hope to keep it going. And this is it for the July Q&A. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. Subscribe up there. Talk down there. Start a conversation. Keep this conversation going. Let me know what you think of this Q&A, and I will talk to all you guys later. I'm tagging out. Bye.